Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Good afternoon, good morning. We are doing Bag That Badge, and it's a nice, easy, relaxed one today. We are running at 10 kph. We've only got 6.7 kilometres to do. We are doing That's Amore tonight. That's the route. That's the route name. That's the route badge. That's Amore. A little bit of an echo, says Sarah Jacob. Right, well, I think I know what that might be, because we have a new microphone for Victoria which might be picking up my voice as well as this one, so that's interesting. So I'll have to put the noise gate right down so that that microphone doesn't interfere. I think that's what's going on. Anyway, what is it, the fox? What are you talking about, Sarah? Is it the fox making the echo? Double cousin's voice. Right, so it must be the other microphone, mustn't it? Hang on a sec. Let me have a little look. Oh, I knew introducing a new microphone into this situation would mean we get more technical issues. Right, is the echo gone now? Let me know if the echo has now gone, because I've turned off the other microphone. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we're going to have an issue then. If we've got two microphones, one for Victoria and one for me, how do we manage it so that I have to be very severe on the noise gate, don't I? So when I'm talking into this microphone, it's not loud enough to open the other microphone. Okay, we'll sort it out. Let me just have a word with everybody in game and say hello. Hey, fellow runners. That's it. Welcome, runners from all walks. To another edition of Bag That Back. Okay, I actually said good day, fellow runners, but it came out as good day, fellow brothers. I think I covered it pretty well. What do you think? Long day of work for John Farrell, so he's just getting some miles in. The Route Achievement Badge is called That's Amore. Although I appreciate it is only evening where I am. I assume none of you are running at 4 o'clock in the morning. Adrian Mutt says has one more day off and then 6 weeks off. Soria says hello all. What time is it in Australia? That's the question. We've got Elliot running with us. Maria, what time is it in Australia? Question mark. Hey, what time is it in Australia? Right, if Maria is in Sydney, Australia, it is 4 o'clock in the morning. Victoria went outside this afternoon. She did another 10 miles on the hills, but she's getting her elevation in. She's getting her climbing sessions in. So she's already run today. Tina also went out this afternoon. She says, I see Victoria as the local legend on Strava. Yeah, she's got a local legend segment today. 6 a.m. in New Zealand. Okay, Maria, you win. Congratulations. 6 a.m. is awesome. Sarah Jacobson didn't even know that. Welcome along, everybody. Sarah Jacobson says, before the pandemic, I was up every morning at 5:30 to run before work. You keep telling yourself that, Sarah. To be fair, you won't find me running before 9 a.m. any day. Sarah Jacobson says, at least I wasn't electrocuted by a fox today. Right, hang on, let me unpack that. Nearly electrocuted by a fox. What kind of sense does that make? Like, none. No sense at all. So what happened? If you're watching this wondering what the heck Sarah Jacobson is talking about. Tina Beard was up at 5:30 this morning, but she says no way would I run before 9 o'clock. Quite right too. Us Brits, we do like to leave our running till a more sensible time. Apologies to everyone. Sarah has been on the chin again. Right, so this morning, well, actually last night, I discovered that we had a bit of an internet problem. I didn't have an internet connection in the shed here. And I was a bit concerned about it, but I thought it'll be okay, it'll just automatically sort itself out tomorrow. But I came in this morning to set everything up, and there was still no internet connection in the shed. So I panicked a little bit. I wondered what on earth could be going on, but I did my usual excellent professional troubleshooting and eliminated one thing at a time. So I worked out that it wasn't the router. I worked out that it wasn't the main router in the house. I worked out it wasn't a number of things. And the only thing that it could be was the big, long cable, the 50-metre cable that runs from the front of the house to the back of the house. Yes, John, I did switch it off and back on again. I switched everything off numerous times and back on again. So I worked out it was, in fact, this 50-metre long cable. Now, thankfully, I started checking it from where it enters the shed, and I immediately found the problem. And it was that some creature, well, it might have been one of my children or somebody. I am an excellent professional. Somebody or something or someone had chewed through much of the weatherproof Ethernet cable that I use to bring the internet into the shed. But there were only a few minutes, half an hour or so, before I was due to start live streaming this morning. This is a very long-winded story and it really shouldn't be taking this long. Anyway, so the only thing I could do as a last-ditch attempt to get things working was cut out, with a pair of kitchen scissors, cut out the offending part and then strip the wire and get us all the tiny little wires inside. And there's about 8 of them, 8 tiny little wires. Strip those back on both ends of the cable and literally twist them together. And that did, in fact, solve the problem. So we do now have full internet back in the shed. So I made a little video of this morning and posted it on the Zwift Run channel as a short. saying that either a fox or a cat, and Tina says it could be a rat as well, chewed through the cable. Now, you know, going back to Sarah Jacobson's argument that I may have been electrocuted by a fox, that's the story. It was a network data cable. There is no live electricity flowing through this cable. Much as Tina and Sarah wish there was not. I was perfectly safe, and the fox, or the rat, or the cat indeed, that chewed through said cable, oh yeah, and Marcus, was nowhere to be seen. Had Scarped was probably fast asleep on a sofa somewhere. Well, the cat, not the rat or the fox. That would be a very lucky rat or a lucky fox that managed to sleep on a sofa last night. Anyway. Tina says, I thought your hair looked a little wild tonight. Right, I've got another story about hair that I need to talk to you about in a minute. John Farrell says, does Basil Brush live next door? We do have a family of foxes regularly. Some of them, I mean, we regularly get foxes run over on the big main road at the top of our street here. But we seem to regularly get them back. Different foxes, obviously not the dead ones. Different foxes. Boom, boom. Do you remember that? Now, the Americans won't know what we're talking about here. Does anyone, apart from the Brits, know who Basil Brush is from? Where was I in this story? Sarah Jacobson says, of course we don't know who Basil Brush is. So, many years ago when I was a child, there was a children's programme called Basil Brush, and it was basically a glove puppet of a fox, and it used to tell jokes and do silly things. Yes, Victoria says, one year the foxes chewed up a brand new pair of Ellis's school trousers which were hanging on the line. So we do regularly get foxes here. So my feeling is it was probably a fox. Sometime yesterday. Because I did notice it yesterday evening. Paul Deering, always listening. Boom, boom. That was his catchphrase, you see, boom, boom. Boom, boom. He would tell a joke. Basil Brush would tell a joke. We 7-year-olds would all laugh our heads off and he'd go, boom, boom. A puppet, yeah, hand puppet, says Victoria, is what Basil Brush was. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. All you need to know is, I was not electrocuted. I was never in any danger of being electrocuted. And I was certainly not electrocuted by a fox. By the way, today I have not been electrocuted by a fox. That's just to confuse people who are not listening to the live stream. Anyone not listening to the live stream now has looked at that and gone, what the hell is going on? Right, Victoria seems to think that Basil Brush definitely was not a puppet and was in fact real. There's a lot of things in life that I haven't told Victoria about. She is still under the impression that the Tooth Fairy exists. The Easter Bunny, in Victoria's eyes, is alive and well and visits every Easter. So much so that we are all forced to play the Find the Easter Egg game in the garden every Easter Sunday morning. Or is it Easter Monday? Whichever day Easter Sunday, I think. We're all forced to hunt the Easter egg in the garden because the Easter Bunny has visited and hidden a load of Easter eggs. I'm not sure. She may also still believe that Father Christmas exists, but I don't know. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of my morning with the foxes and the potential electrocution. Basil Brush is probably the only thing from the 1970s on the BBC that is not in prison. Sarah Jacobson says that was a 3-minute story that took 15 minutes. I'll give you that. It took a lot longer than it needed to. Yes. Tina Beard is convinced that she actually does have fairies at the bottom of her garden. Anthony Anderson doesn't need foxes where he is. He's got enough problems with seagulls. Well, we also live near the sea, and we do indeed have plenty of seagulls flying around our house. And when I originally put that Ethernet cable in and threw it over the roof, one of my main concerns was that the seagulls would chew through it at the top of the roof there, because we often have seagulls nesting in our chimney stack. So that was a genuine worry, but it hasn't happened in 4 years that I've had that cable there. So fingers crossed it's all right up there. But clearly it's just down here that we've had the problem. Anyway, that's 3 kilometres we've done now. We're almost halfway through the run. Okay, point of order. Point of order, ladies and gentlemen. Seagulls do not chew. It could just be you, Sarah, that's having... I've got no problems at my end, as far as I'm aware. There's a red light, which usually indicates a good connection. So, yeah, anyone else got internet problems? Anyone else got a stuttering live stream at all? Tina says all good with her. So, yeah, I think it just might be Chicago, Sarah. All good with John Farrell as well. Okay. So we are halfway through the Bag That Badge Thursday evening run. That's Amore is what we're doing, the route that we're doing. Sarah Jacobson says, your fox-chewed internet cable has affected us in the States. Well, see, there is no fox-chewed internet cable now because I've cut that bit out. That's the whole point of the story, is that the bit that the fox chewed has been eliminated. Maybe my technical handiwork has affected your viewing in the States. And I have now been on Amazon and purchased a professional crimping tool to do a proper professional repair job, as opposed to the ad hoc Heath Robinson repair job that I did this morning. Yes, look at my HR. Look at your HR, says Tina. My HR is quite high, but I am talking an awful lot today, so that is probably okay. That's probably what it is, to be honest. Right, Sarah Jacobson says, what's up with your HR? Well, okay. Yesterday it was weird, wasn't it? This morning, it started out a bit weird. It started out ridiculously low. And then I adjusted the strap and it seemed to be okay. Now, at the moment, it's reading about 150. Normally at this speed, I would be in zone 2. I'm assuming it's because I've basically talked non-stop for 3.5 kilometres. I'm assuming it's actually what my heart rate is. But I am a little bit sceptical at the moment. I'm just monitoring it carefully. Thank you very much everyone who's joined the run, by the way, today. Good to have everyone with us. Nikki's there. Thank you, Nikki. Messinger's there as well. John Farrell. Sarah, of course. Maria from New Zealand, who's got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to run with us. Thank you to her. Kano from Spain. Fernandez from Spain. Bunyan from the UK. Adrian, of course, in, with the Canadian flag. He's not in Canada. Now, I have a meeting with somebody from Zwift HQ from Canada today. That's all I'll tell you. I do have a meeting with somebody on the running side of Zwift in Canada after this. Victoria says, great excitement in the kitchen. Ellis has completed all levels of the Lexia app on his iPad. That's a kind of English comprehension thing. And there are a number of levels that you have to complete before the end of term. And the end of term is tomorrow. Most kids in the school are nowhere near finished it. Ellis, because he was given the carrot of a new bike, Ellis has actually gone to town on the Lexia app in the last week, every night, and has completed the full lot of assignments. So well done, Ellis. We'll have to see if we can afford this new bike now, won't we? Right, 2.7k to go, nearly 4k done. I've still got more stories to tell you. Which actually, it's not a story, it's more of a question. You know how Amazon targets advertising? Well, everywhere targets advertising these days, but based on your gender, your age, where you live, all those kind of things, and what you've previously purchased, Amazon targets marketing at you, so, as they should. I would much rather have targeted advertising than ad hoc advertising. Much more sensible in my view. However, you, as a result of this, you may have no idea what I'm talking about. But I have been bombarded recently with 2 different grooming adverts. Body grooming, not any other kind of grooming. 2.5k to go, by the way. So one is for tooth whitening powder. So a powder in a pot that claims to whiten your teeth. So I fell for it and I purchased some tooth whitening powder. Now the thing is, you're supposed to use this powder every day, I think possibly even twice a day, and each brush should last 4 minutes. Now I tried this for a couple of days. 4 minutes is a very, very long time to brush your teeth, especially twice a day. And I'm not sure I've got the wherewithal, the will. I've not got the will to do it for 4 minutes every day. as well as brushing your teeth with toothpaste after that. John Farrell says he's got this chocolate stuff that just makes his teeth black. That's no good. I want the opposite of that. Yeah, charcoal. Yeah, I want the opposite. I want them to go white, not black. Anyway, so I kind of feel like perhaps I've been conned, but perhaps I just haven't put the effort in, and I need to kind of commit to brushing my teeth with this powder every day for 4 minutes and see if it does actually make a difference. Tina says, so funny, Stephen, victim of hard selling. Yeah, listen, I do love a good hard sell. I fall for it every time. So now, here's the second part. Here's the second body grooming thing that has been pushed in front of my eyes on Amazon. And I hate to admit this, but it is true that over the past 10 years, I have gone a tiny little bit greyer in my hair than I was before. Only a little bit. I mean, I am still mostly dark-haired. Look, you see the beautiful dark-haired locks here. I am still pretty dark. But there's just the possible hint of grey hair. And up until recently, no, not a silver fox at all, John. A dark-haired fox still with a silver lining. Up until recently, I had believed there was no reversing this other than dyeing your hair. And I don't want to dye my hair. I'm not going to dye my hair. And I believe... Oh no, internet! Please come back. Okay, I think we're back. Hopefully you haven't lost me. Oh, I've lost everyone on screen again. Okay. Are you all still with me? Right. Natural, organic hair colour, grey hair growing, and encourage the growth of darker coloured hair. Now, everything in me tells me that this is a scam, a load of rubbish, it'll never work, and I shouldn't buy the soap. Has anyone heard of this stuff? Should I buy it? I'm now guessing that nobody can hear the live stream. We've gone off somehow. Everyone's been cut off. Victoria says, don't waste your money. Tina and Sarah probably haven't heard. So, I'm left in limbo. Sarah Jacobson's finishing at 5k. She's done. Nikki's still with us. Cecile is still with us from Belgium. Brewer from Sweden is still there. Let's just go and drop some ride-ons quickly, actually, while we're here. There's John Farrell. Thank you, John. There's Maria. Thank you, Maria, joining. Mele from Italy. Brewer from Sweden. Thank you to you. Kano from Spain. Alja from Portugal. And Onion from the UK. Fernandez from Spain. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Nikki, as always. Well done, Nikki. And Cecile from Belgium. There we go. That's everybody. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Tina says, If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is, yes. And Sarah Jacobson says, I heard bits and pieces. I just want you to do it so I can see what happens. That's the thing, isn't it? Anthony says, if you saved all the money you are spending on these items, you could buy Victoria a screen. Look, I've just bought Victoria a microphone. She's not getting a screen as well. 1 kilometre left to run, by the way. So, see, I'm with Sarah Jacobson. Even if it causes hilarity amongst everyone, it's not that expensive. It's like £10, what, $15 for a bar of this soap. I mean, I may as well get some and just try it, hadn't I? Anthony says, Victoria says, good point, Anthony. No, literally just got a microphone. A top of the range, vocal, podcast and broadcasting mic for Victoria. She's not getting a screen as well. Tina Beard says she did actually miss what it is that I'm considering purchasing. Well, it's not hair dye. It is a soap that claims to naturally restore hair colour. So it's supposed to stimulate the follicles and chemicals in your scalp to grow darker coloured hair and to prevent the growth of grey hair. How it does that, I don't know, and it's probably absolute rubbish. But I've never seen anything like that advertised before. I don't want to dye my hair, but if there's something you can use which does genuinely make your hair naturally a bit darker again, I'm keen to just give it a bit of a try. Victoria says don't waste your money, but Victoria says don't waste your money about everything. Everything I ever suggest buying, Victoria says it's a waste of money, don't do it. John Farrell says keep kidding yourself. Yes, I'm totally on board with that as well. I'm wily enough to know that it probably is bollocks. Excuse my language. Oh yes, there you go. Tina says, as a hairdresser of 35 years, what a load of BS, she says. So, I guess I have to take that as gospel truth from someone who knows. Damn it. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. 600 metres to go of Bag That Badge. Thank you for joining tonight, today, afternoon, this morning, this evening, everyone. Thank you to Maria for getting up at 6 a.m. in New Zealand to run with us. And hopefully I will see you all again for another Bag That Badge at the same time next week. Tina says, I'm very proud of my white hair. Well, and Anthony says, what's the problem with having grey hair? Yeah, no, I know. I must admit, as I get older, I do hark back a little bit. I'm not at that stage yet where I'm comfortable being an older person. Many of you will say I act like a child, but I still do feel like a child, like a kid, like a teenager. When clearly I am not. And I still yearn for those days in some ways. And I'm not quite ready to give it up. But I'm not quite vain enough to go for hair dye. Or, you know, skin. What's that stuff that covers up the gaps the cracks in your eyes? Oh, what's it called? That stuff that all you ladies put on. Anyway. But I still want to be young again. I want to be 30, I think. John Farrell says, thanks, Stephen. 200 metres to go. 39 minutes done. So we're going to finish in a minute or two. Right, Sarah Jacobson says, I dye my hair every 10 weeks. Yeah, but I know, but women do dye their hair, and it's perfectly acceptable, I think, isn't it? I think it's less acceptable for men. Men are supposed to grow old gracefully and allow their age to show, whereas women, that society tells them a bit more that they have to try and keep looking younger. Or keep looking young. So anyway, there we are. I feel all vulnerable now. Sarah Jacobson quite rightly says, don't be held back by the gender norms. Yeah, but are you being controlled by what society expects of you? I don't know. And I think the other thing is, having been grey now for a good few years, you know, going grey and being much greyer for a few years now, if I did dye my hair, I think that would be a bit weird. You know, if I dyed it from the second I started to get any grey hair, then that might be okay, because nobody would have noticed that I've gone grey. But everyone knows what my hair colour is now. If I suddenly dyed it, everyone would go, Stephen, that just looks weird. Anyway, enough of me moaning about the fact that I'm not young anymore. I am off. I'm going for a shower and some food, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll most likely do the ZLDR recovery hour. So we'll see you for that. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thanks for running with me. Thanks for chatting in game. Thanks for putting up with me. Basically, I don't think I've talked so much in a live stream for a long time. I don't think there was... Have I stopped talking? I don't think I've stopped talking, have I? The whole 40 minutes. So, thanks for putting up with me moaning about boxes, electrocution, grey hair, tooth whitening paste, and whatever else I've moaned about over the past 40 minutes. Appreciate your ears and your advice. Thank you very much. And quickly get any last words in, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the ZLDR recovery hour. Appreciate your company as always, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Anthony says goodbye all. Take care everyone. Thanks for watching. See you later.